before we get back to the question there, you speak about Mickey Duffy, and it's probably a question to both of you. Like, we've watched Mickey for this last probably 10 or so years, ripping it up at Dundalk and then the way he played last season. But I just think we spoke about it in radio a lot of times last year. He just stood it being the main man last year. It was just the Mickey Duffy show, and he just fell into it. And there was no ego with him or anything like that there, but the way that he performed, it just suited him. And I worry a wee bit this year. I don't know, worry is the right word, but like he's probably not going to be that this year. The main man at Derry with the likes of James coming in and stuff. You know, and I think back at his time at Dundalk, as unbelievable as he was, he was fighting alongside Fats and Hoban and stuff like that there. So he probably wasn't seen as the main man there and kind of went under the radar a little bit, even though he was phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. So I'm very interested to see how he is this year, and where they actually play him. If he's going to play him more right left, or a lot of times he was inside last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how he shapes up this year. I fully expect him to have an unbelievable season again, but I'm interested to know what you what you think regarding that as well.
But what I would ask you is that if there is more stars, so to speak, coming in the lineup, will that not take the pressure off Michael Duffy and make him less of a target?
Absolutely, but would you, and to counter argue, I think he thrived under that pressure last year, and he probably had his best season in the League Ireland last year.
You shook your head slightly there, Eddie.
Well, as a guy fair to put, like, if when you look at it last season, it as like a false 10. It's, it wasn't a wing. The width came from the wing backs. So Michael and Gavin Whitejelly tucked in as false 10s type thing. And, so if you're thinking he was so good in that position, would you be thinking, saying, well, I think I'll change that position now. I'll play him somewhere else, or I'll give him a different role. When somebody produced what he produced last year in that position, I'd be sorely tempted to, can you give me more of the same, Michael? So then you have to fit everybody else round about. But I hope the burden of captaincy, as you say, doesn't weigh on it, because I know I've been involved with, I've given teams players to really good players in teams the captaincy, and had to take it off them then 2 months later because it got to their heads. Not bad, but they just couldn't. It was like an extra responsibility. But it's experienced enough not to react like that. But as you say, Michael, I just hope he can do even 80% of what he done last year.
Absolutely.